Did y'all know that there is a difference between losing something and letting something go? Did y'all know that? Are you sure? Okay, if you didn't know it, let me go ahead and break it down to you. When you lose something, you are still looking for it, you are still desiring to have said thing. Like you want the presence of it back into your life, or you desire to keep it. When you let go of something, you are willingly releasing it from your possession or control. Y'all see the difference? Do y'all see the difference? Okay, so you can lose your appetite, right? For any reason versus fasting. You're choosing to not eat, right? Okay. What about if you lose your keys versus if you trade your car in, right? Versus if you trade your car in and you give up your keys because you're going to get a new car, you're going to get a new set of keys. So you're giving up those keys versus if you lost your keys, you need those keys. You need those keys. You want those keys. You just have misplaced it, right? Even so much as if you have weight loss due to like an illness or something that's uncontrollable that you can't figure out why you're losing weight without any effort, compared to when you give up your bad eating habits and you're going after a fitness goal. You see what I mean? Letting go, losing something. There's a difference. And I think that was definitely something God had to work with me personally on, because I was screaming and hollering and praying to him all the time. God, why do I keep losing this? Why do I keep losing this? Why do I keep losing this? Until he grew me to a season where it's like, okay, you felt like you were losing those things. He worked me through that. And then he transitioned me into a season of letting things go. This is the season where you have to choose what I am asking you to choose and let go of things that are no longer serving you, that are no longer a part of my plan for you, that I have closed the door of the season on. You have to let those things go. Versus when you've lost something like your keys, you are looking to recover those things, right? And there came a point in time where I still was feeling, I was still approaching the things that I had let go emotionally and mentally. My thought process were still along the lines of I had lost things. And he literally brought me full circle, like line by line, a full blown explanation of there's an art to letting go. There's an art to letting go. And there is a distinct difference between letting go and losing something. Sometimes letting go is the best thing you can do to become your best self. That's just it. Sometimes letting go is the best thing that you could do for you to become your best self. And I think, just like me, there's a lot of people out here who have those two things confused when it comes to certain points in certain areas of their life. And that is the very thing that is holding them back from progressing beyond that. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to get all into the art of letting go. Okay, y'all. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Simone. I am the host of the Shifting Your Atmosphere podcast and the founder of the Shifting Your Atmosphere nonprofit. We are officially a nonprofit, y'all. I'm so excited about that. Our nonprofit's mission is to empower millennial women who lost their identity, shift from their current mindset to the one that God has for them, then teaching them to show up for themselves every day. And this podcast is supplemental to that mission by being able to talk and discuss and share experiences on how that process has happened in my life and in other women's life. So yeah, welcome to the podcast family. We are excited to have you here. And let's get into today's episode of The Art of Letting Go. First thing, if you are ever unsure about if you've lost something or if you're having to come to the point of letting something go, the first thing you want to ask yourself is, why am I letting it go? Either no longer fits you, you've outgrown it, you've upgraded, you've replaced it, you're clearing it out and making space for what is to come, or you're tired of holding on to something that no longer serves you. Yeah, I just, yeah. People tend to think that that would mean that something no longer has a purpose or it does no longer have any value in it because you're letting it go. That is not true. That is not true. Let's think about it. Okay. Just because something is let go, no matter if you are on the giving or the receiving end of being let go, it still has value. I definitely want to start with that. Once we want to think about why something being let go, we want to also, attach to that despite being let go, it still has value. It still holds value. It just may no longer serve its purpose or value to you at this point in your life, at this position. Like, something doesn't lose its value simply or no longer possess value simply because you have to let it go. And I had stages of letting go. I had to mentally let go of what I had associated with whatever area or whatever thing in my life. If I have an area in my life that I'm not willing to let go of because of my mental association of what I believe that does, what I believe that says about me, what I believe that that means about the situation, because I feel like that means positively or negatively that this thing no longer will have value if I let it go. That is not true. You still hold value no matter who lets you go in your life, no matter what you let go of. If you let go of weight, if you let go of a job, if you let go of a relationship, you still have value and that person still has value. I don't even want us to have it in our mind and our heart that, oh, because this person let go or I have to let this person go out of my life. God still wants us to love everyone. God still will use everyone and everything. It's their choice on their life, what they do with that. They have nothing to do with you. They have nothing to do with me. But what has something to do with us and our accountability part is in this is to not mentally associate that the fact that we have been let go from something, from some position, some place, some relationship, that we're letting go of something in our lives, that some area God wants to remove from us, because we're letting go of it, that there in some point, form, or fashion, something has lessened its value. And that is not true. I don't believe that. I don't subscribe to that. And I don't want you to believe that or subscribe to that either for yourself. Because when we think that, we are more hesitant to let go and to lean over into what God has for us next, because it's like, oh, well, I've been doing this for this amount of years. There's a lot of value built up here. There's a lot of time served here. I don't want to let that go. That is, now I have, for the last 10 years, I have nothing to show for it. And God is like, I asked you to let it go. I asked you to let it go because there's something different. There's something better. There's something else in this area, in this time, in this season, something better for you. So I had to personally get it in my head that letting go did not mean that there was less value, but I was confusing letting go and losing something. When you lose something, you no longer have it. Like, you have to get a full blown replacement, or it may feel like when you lost something, there's a void because you're looking for it to still be there. It still has purpose. Like I said, the keys, you still need them keys to turn that car on. So there's a void right now. Now you cannot utilize the car. You can't get where you need to go because you don't have the keys. You don't have the necessary thing that you need to feel that position in your mind, in your heart, or feel the purpose of turning that car on, right? So that's different than when you let something go. And I was confusing the two, y'all. I was confusing the two. I was willing to let go of something that God wanted me to let go of. But in my mind, I was still holding space for it as if it needed to come back versus releasing it and truly letting it go so that God could replace with something new, better, different, whatever that meant, whatever he had for me next. I didn't have space or capacity for it because I let it go. But if I'm never going to open my hands to receive something else, just because I let it go doesn't, God can't put nothing else in there because I'm not in a position or a posture or have made space to receive something new. That's why it is very, very, very important for us, because I had to do this already, y'all, and I probably still have to do it as soon as God is still taking me through the journey of life, taking me through the journey of the plan he has for me. I'm going to continue to have to let things go at the appointed time. Like, I'm not going to be able to hold on to every single thing forever. So, but it's going to be important that when he asks me to let something go, when a point in your life you have to choose to let something go that is no longer serving you, that is no longer a part of alignment for your life in God, that is tearing you down, that is keeping you from where you need to be, where you want to be, where you desire to be. Not only do you have to let it go physically, mentally, you have got to let it go and release the space that it was holding to be able to allow God to put something new in that place. It's literally something that was holding me back. I was not able to receive new. I'm praying for new. I'm praying for new. I'm praying for replacement. And I was even sometimes praying for restoration of areas that God was like, I'm done with it. That is no longer here. I'm not going to restore something that is no longer a part of your life, that may not have ever should have been a part of your life, but you went rogue and you started doing your own thing. Okay, God, I understand. So what does that look like, God? Let it go. Make the space for me to place in this area, in this void. Let me feel that. Don't you keep holding space for something to come back, or you keep trying to put in a different place or fill in. You let something go now, you trying to work out, what's supposed to be his replacement. No, let God do that. Let God do that because he knows what belongs there. I kid y'all not. Every single time I try to place something in a position that God didn't want it for, crash and burn, hollering, screaming, stressed, frustrated, getting hurt, added trauma. Like, baby, no, 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 no. When I got it in my head, identify whether it's a loss or it's something I need to let go. Identify that with God. Clarify that with God. Once I got that, you pray for restoration for things that you have lost. You've lost your joy. We pray for restoration for that. You lost your identity. We pray to God to help us walk through showing up for ourselves every day to restore that. Showing up every day with Him to restore those things. We pray for restoration for those things. When He's asking us to let it go, we pray for Him to help us to let it go and create space for what He has for that place in that position in our life. We don't go feeling that on our own. Letting go and losses could be of anything. You could lose a parent and now you have a void because you want that. But when you go in there trying to fill it with all kind of people, coping mechanisms, bad relationships, doing all those things, now you have so many other things that you need God to help you work through because of a loss. That's genuine. That's a genuine space. But when God say, let go of them bad eating habits, we need a good health. We need a good health. Where I'm taking you, we need good health. And you refuse to let go of, I'll tell y'all my business. I had to let go of cinnamon rolls. I love a good cinnamon. I love a good cinnamon. And when I was going through being healthier, telling God I was not happy with the condition of my health and I need to work on it, after having kids and things like that, rebuilding my confidence and my self-esteem and my physical appearance, because having kids change you a lot. And when I did that, cinnamon rolls, one of the things God was like, you're going to have to let that go. The cinnamon roll tastes good, but it's not good for you. Every once in a while is different than how you was pregnant and you was having one every day. And you're going to have to let go of that habit that you've attached to that because you're no longer pregnant. It's no longer a season that's, I don't know if it was ever okay, but you get the story, that it was ever okay. You're now in a season of postpartum. You're now in a season of restoring your health. You're now in a season where the baby is outside of you. You feeding that baby now. That you don't need to keep stuffing yourself with things talking about you fueling that baby. We can't use that excuse somewhere, baby. So you got to let that cinnamon rolls go. So it was a choice on me. If I wanted the health that I was praying to God for, if I wanted the health that I was working so hard and putting all my energy for, was I going to be willing to let go of the cinnamon rolls or not? And that may seem so superficial or, insignificant, but take the story, apply it to your life, to your area, and it's going to work the same. The principle is still going to remain the same. When you need to let go, but you refuse, you're not going to get to where you want it to get because that's in the way. It's blocking it. It's blocking it. If I wanted that fitness goal, losing that weight, hitting that milestone, I had to let go of the cinnamon rolls. Here I am over here, the cinnamon rolls and all the other unhealthy habits that I had, not drinking no water. I stopped exercising, things like that. And even, the mental cloudiness, like I had to clear all those things that were in my way to get to where I am now, which was the goal, which was the thing that I was after. But if I didn't let go of those things in the middle, I never would have gotten to where I needed to be. And that had a part of my intentionality to play and being willing to let something go and truly let it go. And when we let something go, you can't go back and get it in 2 days. You can't go back and get it and cycle back, because that's another thing I struggle with. If you don't genuinely let something go, you're going to go through cycles and cycles and cycles, and you're not going to be happy about it. I had about a every 2 to 3 year cycle. And then when I got sick of it, and I mean really, really sick of it, that's when all this stuff started to come to play to me. I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of cycling right back to here where I got to start over and try to do this again. And it's because I wasn't truly letting go. I wasn't releasing it either physically, and I was just doing it for a short term, and I was doing it for the right reasons, or I wasn't releasing it mentally. So I kept holding space. So every time I thought I got to a place where there should have been a replacement and shifting over to another pad, another level, I was never getting there because I wasn't really letting go. I, y'all, I hope this makes sense because this is a lot for me and this is very intentional and very close to home for me. So I hope I'm calm enough to clearly express and explain what I'm trying to explain. Now, before we get too far into the episode, y'all already know what we gotta do. Go to the corner real quick and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the corner. Welcome back to the corner, y'all. So you already know what Styledbyksymone Fashion Corner is about. The fit. The fit. And y'all want spring. Y'all want color. So here we go. This dress, I think I honestly got it from Amazon or Shein years ago, but it's always a great patchwork puff sleeve, little light dress for spring. This denim vest, y'all already know. TikTok shop, Amazon. We had to get it with the vintage bold sleeves. Yes, ma'am. The vest. And then, of course, we're going to color some more. So I had these little blue pumps. They cute. They cute. So what y'all think about today's fit? And, of course, glasses. Little golds. I got a new letter gold necklace, y'all. A staple for my everyday jewelry from Amazon. I love it. The everyday other staples. What y'all think? What y'all think? And the allergy season mean glasses are necessary, so you're gonna have to ignore the glare because I gotta see. K Rod, let's get back to the episode. Yeah, we didn't have to went over the basics, right? Of letting go, why we should let go, how we can let go, reason why we would not let go, hold space, all that kind of stuff. Let's go on over to God's side. If you truly let something go and you let it go and God ever asks you to let it go, how you can really know that you've let it go is when you no longer possess the desire to have it. Like, once I let the cinnamon rolls go and I let it go for good and for real, I no longer had a craving or appetite for those cinnamon rolls. Like, I started to have a craving and appetite for the things that were better for me, for things that were healthier for me. And at that point, that's when I knew, like, you let it go for real this time. You let it go for real this time. And that goes for any type of habit, anytime you are truly beginning to make space for what you need to feel that with, right? What no longer serves you could be a blessing to someone else, but you refuse to let it go. Now you interrupt somebody else's blessing because you refuse to let it go. Like, all things truly work together. So something you refuse to let go of can't be a blessing to somebody else until you let it go. And that's, again, whether you're on the receiving or the giving end of that. You see how something has to shift, something has to move for the next to get in that place. And all these things are connected to different blessings. And even if it's not a blessing connected to somebody else, your next blessing is connected to you letting go of something that no longer serves you. You are not going to get or can't get to that next blessing that you are hoping, praying, or can't get back to that joy, can't get back to that next thing until you are willing to let go of the thing that is in a life. Like, literally, the reason I could be on here talking to y'all, the whole start of this area was literally my sister randomly dropped off a mic, like one of the cordless mics, at my door one day. She just called me. She was like, well, I set some equipment outside your door. I had bought that a long time ago, and I ain't really ever used it. Maybe you'll use it one day somewhere in your, content of your social media, something like that. I don't know, but I'm just giving it to you. If you can't use it, then I'll get somebody else. She let it go. How did that end up getting me here, right? She let it go because it no longer fit her life, but it was a blessing to me for my life to allow me to start the very thing God was pushing me into next. If she ain't let it go, I wouldn't have had what I needed to go right into what I've let it go. If it's no longer serving you in your life, if it's no longer fitting for you in your life, why hold on to it? You're holding on to something. God clean, like, she was making space in her house for other stuff, right? Getting rid of things she no longer needed to make space for things that she did. And that became a blessing to me. We've got to quit trying to hold on to things that's no longer serving us. It don't fit us no more. It don't fit you no more. The outfit, the clothes is too little. Get to somebody else to let it be a blessing to them. It's a part of their style. It no longer fits. what you doing, where you going, your body number. Let it go. I know you like it. I know you love it. I know it was your favorite. If God told you to let it go, or it's time to let it go. There's absolutely no reason for you not to blossom and transition into the next thing He has for you, the next space of your life, everywhere that you're going, because you won't let something go. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. Let it go. Today, once you finish watching this episode, we're going to run all this information past different areas of our life to say, is this a loss? Do we need to let it go? Whatever we're thinking in our head, whatever we're thinking in our mind, wherever we got in front of us in our life. And we're going to make the necessary choice today. Lock in with me, and we're going to make a promise to each other that we're going to make the necessary choices today to begin that process, because the longer we wait, the longer we're out of alignment, the longer we miss, the longer we're leaving ourselves exposed to other things, other areas that have absolutely nothing to do with where we're going, but we're just harboring it for no reason. And God can't move when we don't have space for what He's trying to give us. Okay? People would tell me, like, a lot of time, if they've heard about certain things that I've dealt with or been through, they were like, how can you still be okay about that? Because I let it go. How can you still be around them? Because I let it go. How can you still be nice to this person despite what they've done? Because I let it go. Because I let it go. And letting go don't mean I agree. Letting go don't mean that that's right. Letting go don't mean that it was fair. Letting go don't mean any of that. Letting go means I am no longer holding up space, valuable space, capacity for what is going to go on in my life, or something that's already. I'm holding negative thoughts, anger, bitterness. I'm holding. Is that conducive to where I'm going? Is that conducive to the feelings that I want to have? Is that conducive to the life and the person I want to be? Let it go. Let it go. Like, literally, my sister would preach that to me all the time. She'd just be like, things just got so much better when I let it go. I just said, can't control that. Let it go. Can't do nothing about it. Let it go. Like, she's so funny because she says it's so sarcastic, like it's a joke. But I promise y'all, a lot of principles that I eventually developed and learned was because she said something as a joke that later kept ringing in my mind and my ears. And then I took it back to God, and He showed me how to walk through it. But it started because she would always joke about, and that's just her personality and how she deal with things. She gonna joke about it until she mean it. And I just go and I sit with it until I understand the joke. And I hope y'all get her joke. I hope y'all get it, and we letting it go. We letting it go. Hey, y'all. So God get real with us sometimes. So at some point when I was going through deciphering through the journey of things that were losses versus letting go, and going through my journey of what He was letting me know that looked like, He'll show you. He'll show you, and He'll be very gentle but yet blunt with you about what your problem is. And for me, He basically told me, you're dressing up things and sugarcoating things in a way that you're trying to convince yourself that you don't have to let it go because it's serving a certain purpose, when in fact it's not. You're making that up. And I said, God, sometimes His truth a little rough. Yeah, sometimes the truth a little rough. But He was very clear and very blunt with me about that. Sometimes we turn a blind eye to things, right? We won't accept what something is, what a situation is, who a person is, when God shows or reveals us certain things, or even just what this area or journey or season that you're in, what it truly is. Like, we will try to fabricate it in our mind and our head so that we will become okay and comfortable with whatever choice or decision we're making about it, right? God was like, no. He literally used animals to explain this to me, y'all, about my cycles that I was going through. I kept going through cycles and going through cycles because I wasn't doing the work in the wilderness. I wasn't allowing the wilderness to do what it need to be, to what it need to do. I was letting something go, stepping over into the wilderness, and that I was allowing the wilderness to do many, many things that it was not purposed to do. One thing I was allowing to do is I was allowing the wilderness to consume me. And it's like the process of the hurt, the pain, the things that I need to work through. I need to put more focus on God, of allowing Him to help me through. I was allowing it to consume me. And then I was allowing it to take me on a different path, not the path that God created for me, that was going to go along the river for restoration and restoring me so that I can go to the next season or get to the destination that He had for me. I was allowing it I was allowing it to consume me. And then, in fact, I was allowing my mind to make up things that was telling me that it was okay to go back. Like the wilderness was so much worse. It's kind of like the children of Israel when they were in the wilderness and God was providing them manna and He was getting them to their destination. They literally were complaining and was like, well, we'd rather go back to being enslaved. At least we had a house. At least we had this. At least we had that while we were slaves. And God's like, you can't see where I'm taking you to. You can't see what I'm doing. You can't see that you're being provided for. Like you have food to eat. You have things. You have water that I'm giving you by. You have all these things even while you're in the wilderness. Like they had been freed from slavery and they had a wilderness period. And it wasn't even going to be long, y'all. It wasn't even going to be long, but they got so wrapped up and consumed in what the wilderness was and how that was compared to what they believed that how the enslavement was better than the season of wilderness to get just to what God had next. Like they were not really even accepting or willing of it. They made all these excuses. They started to do things that had nothing to do with God wanted them to do in that area. And literally, God's like, no, no, no. So y'all, He came back to me and He was just like, it only would have taken 3 days of fasting and you not looking back. Yet on day 1 or 2, or before even 3 was done, you looked back. So boom, now you gotta take another lap. Till you get another opportunity. You went back to the city where you was enslaved. You went back instead of riding the process out, trusting the process. You went back, right? Then He said, and you let the wilderness consume you. You ain't even tried to find the path anymore. You didn't sat down and made friends with the animals out there in the wilderness. You're not even trying to keep going on the journey. You're not even trying to do like you didn't got so wrapped up in the wilderness and accepting a, woe is me fate that you was like, you know what, I'm just make friends with the animals. I'm just sit down. I'm not even gonna keep going after the path or keep trying to pursue what is the God or figure out or any of those things. Like I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna sit here and do nothing, right? So you made friends with the animals. The same animals that would eat you if it came down to survival without hesitation. You can't even be mad because it's just doing what it was created to do. It's genuinely an animal. A lion is genuinely an animal or a predator. So you're mad at a lion for being a lion when you the one that are out of place. You should be here. You should not be sitting there making friends with the lion. You should be following me on the path but you're not listening. You're not following. You're not being obedient. You allowing this wilderness to consume you, allowing you to go to places, make friends, be friends, sugarcoat things in a way that is not in alignment where I am taking you, y'all. He was real cold with it. It says when God shows you who someone or something is, you need to believe it. Do not try to sugarcoat it. We get so comfortable in atmospheres around people or things that we have created in our mind to be something that they are not, to fill voids because we tried to let something go or because we just feel like we should have something and we're longing for something and we're not allowing God to feel it. We're trying to feel it. He says, you made a lion a friend because you longed for a friend. You kept accepting anything and painting it as love because you're longing for love. You longed for peace, so you made your addiction your peace. You longed for fulfillment, so you made food your filler. You created in your mind that X, Y, or Z is whatever you think that it is because that's what you want it to be, not because it's what it is. You may even end up pretending to be something that you're not, trying to hold on to something or someone that's not even in alignment with who you're meant to be. And now you hurt and you got to give it up. And he just kept going back. Everything starts in our mind. And since your mind is where it all went wrong, you got to allow me to shift your atmosphere, your mindset, your thinking, and heal you. And once all that happens, you won't be able to help but allow for God's light to shine through you in every atmosphere that you walk into from there on out because you've genuinely done the work. You've genuinely taking the blindness off your eyes. You've genuinely let something go, gone through the process, and you've been real and clear with yourself. Yeah, God was not playing with me about some of this stuff. He was very, very intentional and very, very clear. And he went all the way down to it. He said, you're pretending that something is what it is just because you want to have this thing. You want to have love. So you're pretending anything that's presented to you is love. And now you're getting hurt and then you're going to continuously get hurt because you won't let it go. You won't let it go and you won't sit in the wilderness and allow me to feel and restore and create a pathway for you to get to the love, for you to get to the healing, for you to get to the next job, to the next opportunity, to the next season of your life. You trying to do my work for me ain't doing a bad job. And I said, okay, God. Okay, God. Sometimes you can't even really say anything. You got to just, okay. You got to take the constructive criticism, the loving parenting, and you got to just eat it. You just got to eat it and sit with it. And it's going to produce so much positive change in your life. So, y'all, from this, if you get nothing from the episode, what I want you to get this episode is there is a distinctive difference between a loss and letting go. And once you've sat with different, I want you to go and sit with different areas in your life and distinguish part, which category they go in, right? Things that you've been struggling with, things that you are, God is bringing to you to ask you to let it go, and you fighting him on letting it go. Things that you feel like are no longer serving you in your life, but you're keeping them around. Things that you think, may be holding you back, but you can't understand why. Sit down. Sit down. Is this a loss or is something that God want me to let go of? If it's a loss, deal with it appropriately. Allow him to begin to work on you to fill those voids properly. If it's something you need to let go of, there's going to be a wilderness period, okay? I'm just letting you know. If it's something you have to let go of, there's going to be a wilderness period. Just like the children of Israel. They came out of bondage, went to the wilderness, but how you handle this wilderness is going to be important because that's how you're going to get restored. That's how you're going to get refilled. That's how you're going to get your God's going to guide you to the pathway to what's next so that you don't sit up in the wilderness and start doing things you ain't no business doing. So you don't sit in the wilderness and start to create your own plans. So you don't sit in the wilderness, keep making excuses and sugarcoating things to say, oh, well, I'm not going to let this go because this is love. God said, is that love? Or are you making up that that's love because you want love? And all you have to do is realize that I'm love. All you have to do is realize that I'm joy, I'm peace, I'm the fulfillment of the things that you need. Yes, all these other things will come in other human forms, will come in other earthly forms and material things, but I am the source. I am the root of these things. And when you get them through me, they will not waver. They will not change. You will not continue to go back in the cycles of continue to have the desire and the appetite for things that are no longer supposed to be a part of your life. You're no longer supposed to have appetite for these things. And once you allow me to handle it, you will lose the appetite from it and you will truly let it go. But you're only letting it go to make room for what God has next. So y'all, I need y'all to get on this. I need y'all to get on this wavelength with me. We're letting go of the things this year that no longer serving us. And when we get into our wilderness period where we're needing God to flush things out, show us ourselves, just a journey to weed a few things out, weed people out, just us working on ourselves and being prepared for what he has for us next. We have got to sit in. We have got to lock in. We have not got to give up. We cannot make excuses in our mind and our um internally to say, hey, look, that's taking too long. That's this and this, that. Like we have got to learn to trust God. And we have got to learn to trust God, what God has for us and stop making excuses out of things that we've chosen for us, that we want God for us to get out of, but then we don't even want to get out of them the way he wants to get out of them. Like the children of Israel was like, deliver us from bondage. We don't want to be slaves. God like, okay, bet. I'm going to deliver y'all out, right? I got that for y'all. I don't want y'all to be slaves either. I don't want my people to be enslaved, so I'm going to bring y'all out of the slavery, right? They didn't like how God brought them out. They said, you brought us out, but why you bring us out and put us out in the woods? He said, oh, no, this is how you get to, to the land I'm going to give you. This is how you get to the land that's filled with the milk and honey. Like, this is how you get there. This is all how you get there. And they're like, nah, this don't look right. And then he started being like, they started being like, oh, well, I should have just, I could have just went back and been a slave. At least I had a house. At least I had a house over in slavery. I know I might hardly had to work. I was probably under them and I couldn't get certain things, but it was better than this wilderness. Baby, God shut my mouth real quick. I did a little children of Israel a couple of times. And And God showed me up real quick because you may want to be careful about saying that something of your past is better than what God has for you. You may want to watch your mouth on that because God doesn't give us anything to hurt us, to harm us. There's lessons, there's tests, there's everything that's part of a plan. But He's not going to give us something that's going to be new, to be better. When He's saying He's doing a new thing and bringing us from the thing that we want to be released from, do not play in God's face and be like, because it doesn't look pretty, it doesn't look perfect, and there's a process that's going to turn you out better and make that process permanent, that growth and change and healing permanent. Do not go back and play in His face and be like, I pray for you to take me out of this. And because right now it looks a little hard, it looks a little lonely, I'm in isolation by myself. Let me go back to these people. Let me go back to these places. They may not have been so bad because, or I could at least take, I can band that over and take what it is. Even though it's going to still take me down, I'm going to be right back at the same place crying to you to help me again. Simply because I don't like what the process look like right now. Do not do that. Do not make that mistake. Like, y'all, the children of Israel, some people that they my example in the Bible because I'm not trying to be like them at all. Like, a journey was quick. They didn't accept the journey to the point that they had to all die off before, and I didn't even get the promise. They children got the promise because they weren't trying to listen, complaining to God, doing the wrong thing. So when God showed me those things, when He showed me that about me, I said, okay, you're right. You're not going to hear nothing else from Key. You're not going to hear nothing else from Key about how, she's not willing to go through the wilderness. You're not hearing this about Key about how she's not willing to sit through the process to do the permanent healing because lo and behold, Key's going to come back in 2 to 3 years crying about the same thing. She was. And when God revealed these things to me and helped me clear up my thought process on how things that He was asking me to let go of, I was considering a loss. And that's why I wasn't navigating through and processing through to the next things that He had for me. Once He got me clear on some of that stuff, y'all, it was a wrap. And I hope today you take some of the things that I have discussed and shared with you and you start to apply them to your life and you start to decipher through things that were a loss, things that are actually part of letting go, what letting go looks like. You start to filter through why are you refusing to let things go. You see if it's because you have the wrong thought process on it, if it's because you've had it connected in a way that you're not willing to let go of, have you sugarcoated and made up that it's something that is not, and then you're upset that it keeps hurting you. A lion gonna be a lion, a snake gonna be a snake. The shoe that don't fit ain't gonna fit. It's gonna hurt your toes. We gotta quit trying to make something fit a mold that's not fit for us because what God has for us, what does fit, what He's created truly for you and only for you, part of the plan that He has for your life, baby, that's gonna be just for you. It's gonna work how it's supposed to work. It's not gonna be hurting you, harming you, and doing all of that just to keep its position for you because it's meant to be there, right? You're meant to be there. You're meant to be in those spaces. Like God had made situations and relationships and things for me so uncomfortable, so unbearably uncomfortable until I moved, until I let it go. Like every time I went back, every time I circled back, every time I wasn't willing to do what He asked me to do and let it go for good, it was good. It was sweet for a little second until I got to that same breaking point, that same space where the capacity was outdone. Or even worse, I began to become a version of myself that I didn't recognize, that I was comfortable with, trying to hold on to something that wasn't for me in the first place. Like, that's part of how I've lost my identity a few times in life because I was holding on to thoughts, things, places, people that were not me. But I had allowed life, things, media, situations, circumstances, all those things to condition or convince me that what out here was saying was for me and not what God had for me, not what God was taking from me, or that this is all that life had to offer. Oh, well, you'll just always be this. You'll just always be there. People say it's about you. That's just what it is because it's repetitive. No, that is not true. That is not true. So if you're praying for God to pull you out of things, you're going to have to be willing to let go of some things. If you're praying for God to pull you out of some things, there's going to be wilderness. If you lost some things that were out of your control, there will still be a need to come back to God for Him to properly heal and fill those voids from the things that you've genuinely lost before you get the feeling it with the things that you have no business feeling it with. That then cause more hurt and harm and attachments and things that you still gotta let go. So it's full circle, baby. It's about a little loop to loop. Like, what's you on this side, you're on this side. Don't mess around and be flipped and be on the other side. And he's all still wrong until we allow God to do what he got to do in his work in the wilderness. And we're obedient to him when he asks us to let go of things. Because I was a problem child for him. I was not willing to let go of things. And I was a fence straddler. Yeah, I was straddling the fence on everything. I'd be kind of letting go, but kind of not. I'd be trying to find that little line in between. First is just jumping on the other side, just going on over the other side because straddling the fence didn't help either. It really didn't. Like, kind of letting something go, but not really letting something go, still kept me in the same space, still kept me in the same cycle, still kept me where I wasn't willing to go. And I just want to encourage y'all for the last time that don't give up on yourself and don't give up on your process that you're starting and you're traveling through with God because it's going to be so worth it in the end if you do not give up. And if you give up and go backwards and you're genuinely not supposed to, how many times, ask yourself, how many times am I willing to restart this process? Because then, quite frankly, we'll get an attitude and get pissed off. But how many times I'm keep going through this? How many times I'm keep going through this? How many times I'm gonna keep starting the cycle over? Like that was me. I was getting mad and angry, and I'm like, God, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. How long am I gonna keep going through this? And the answer was until you get it, until you let it go, until you allow me to do it the right way, until you understand this is a loss and you're longing for something that no person can give you. You have a void that no other person can feel. And you're trying to do it. You're trying to feel it. Let me have it. Let me do it. So I just want to encourage you guys today. Let them do it. Let them have it. Let it go. And if it's a loss, let him feel it. Let him restore you. Allow him to do his work. Because what he does, no person can undo it. When you're doing it for the right reasons, nobody can take that back from you. But when you're doing it for the wrong reasons and not allowing him to do it and doing it his way, you're going to mess around with other children of Israel. You're complaining, stuck, and ending up with a life that God didn't even intend for you to have. And I don't want that for me. I don't want that for you. So, yeah, we're going to lock in and do right. If y'all got more comments about this, leave me a comment in the bottom. If you want to join the Chosen Shawties community, it's always linked at the end. You want to shop any of the outfit, it's always linked for the Amazon storefront. What else? We'll be back on Saturday for Journaling Out Loud. But I think that's all I got for y'all this week. It was a longer episode. I'm sorry. If y'all want to make any other small videos or an additional episode to clarify anything, let me know below in the comments. But if that's all we got, until the next episode,